shall we? Now you have the breakdown. Forrest blowing it against Leicester.
Well, I have some pictures that I want to share and some words that I want to share. So this is from Nuno. Here he is talking about what happened, and quite diplomatic. So let me read this bad boy for you. It was a misunderstanding between the coaching and medical department, and we were both frustrated. It is because of the owner's passion that we are growing as a club. He pushes us. He wants us to be better. And that's from the official Nottingham Forest Football Club. So I think it's from theirs, which is interesting. Number one. Number two is from the owner's side. Now, this is harder reading for me. Today, what does he say here? Sorry, I've got today's the day. Oh, today is a day for celebration. After 30 years, Forrest is now guaranteed to be competing on the European stage once again. A promise I made to our supporters when we achieved promotion. With 2 more games to go in the Premier League, we must keep believing and keep dreaming. Right to the final kick in the final game. We are extremely proud and close to Nuno and the team, and we must all celebrate the historic achievements of this season. Everybody, coaching staff, players, supporters, and including myself, we were frustrated around the injury of Taiwo and the medical staff's misjudgment on Taiwo's ability to continue the game. This is natural. This is a demonstration of the passion we feel for our club. Let's all be grateful, passionate, and keep on dreaming. Well, I don't know.
Well, let's break it down for what exactly happened for those that don't know. So essentially, at the end of the match, the owner, Evangelos Marinakis, confronted Nuno and kind of berated him a little bit.
Publicly.
Yeah, pissed off. Now, it was because Forrest made their final sub shortly after a one-year clash with the post with 10 minutes remaining, and therefore they couldn't make another sub, and he was injured, so couldn't really, put much of an effort in the last 10 minutes. So they kind of got the subs wrong. I think it's been blown out of proportion a little bit here. I've watched it back a few times. It's not good. The owner shouldn't be publicly remonstrating with the coach, but it wasn't as if he shoved him to the ground. He just looked a little bit frustrated. Jimmy, you're a Forest fan. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. You don't expect the owner to be out there and being drawing attention to himself and the head coach. Obviously, he had a massive issue with the medical staff, and you could see his frustration. But yeah, I just think it wasn't right what he did. He shouldn't have been out in the pitch doing it. Stay in the stands and do it behind the scenes. Drawing way too much attention to you, and sometimes it's the wrong attention that you're drawing towards the club. Yeah, it wasn't the result that they wanted. They should have been a game that they ended up winning. They did qualify for Europe, which is massive for the club. It hasn't been first time in 30 odd years. So, these moments they should be cherishing. I mean, last year you're fighting relegation, and now you're back in Europe. So, yeah, there was a lot of disappointment and attention drawn to the club that didn't need to have. It was negative, and I think it's a time that the club deserves to have the positive energy and around the organization right now.
Yeah, what was he doing out there?
Yeah,
like, seriously, stay in the stand
with that gray T-shirt. He shouldn't be going anywhere. He looked like he just came back from an all-you-can-eat buffet.
He needs Ozempic.
I was at Norwich. I was at Norwich when Delia Smith came onto the pitch at halftime.
Oh, you having it? And that one?
She was. It looked like she was half in the bag. Her teeth were a lot of wine. A lot of wine on the.
You were there for that, were you?
Yeah, and she just grabs the microphone and starts yelling at the supporters to get behind the club, and she's like,
"Let's have you.
Let's be having you."
Yeah,
that was classic.
Yeah.
So are you telling me, Jimmy, this is a forgivable? And this is completely forgivable? I know Craig said he shouldn't be out there. It's not a great look for Forrest. It doesn't keep the spotlight on them and their accomplishments. But if you're Nuno and all of a sudden, like there are pundits were saying I'd be handing in my
Scandalous, isn't Gary Neville saying it was a scandalous? Scandalous.
Neville was,
Bit of a stretch.
Is it forgivable?
Well, if you beat West Ham your next match and you beat Chelsea and you get in Champions League, it's all is forgotten.
Maybe as far as
except that your owner didn't apologize. He didn't say, "Hey, I'm sorry that I did that." He just said the passion. So his statement was, first of all, a non-apology. Like there was no apology there. It was an explanation of the passion that brought him in his gray t-shirt out there. And because that's how the guy dresses for his club.
Does anyone look less like an owner than that guy?
He looked like the guy who used to give me quarters at the arcade.
Or no, you know, he's a guy that's on the treadmill every day at Good Life, just walking very slowly. That's what he is.
He doesn't miss many meals, that's for sure.
But seriously, I don't know. Is Neville right? Is he like? I would have a hard time getting yelled at on the pitch by my boss.
Yeah, but I bet Nuno knows this guy and knows he's passionate and has interactions with him all the time. He's probably like, "Oh Christ, here he comes again! Jesus Christ, my door's locked. Please don't come in. Please don't. Oh, here he comes." And the guy loves the club. Obviously, he's got a lot of passion. He made it about himself too, right? In those quotes when he says, "Like I told you when we got promoted, we're in Europe." He kind of made it about himself. I imagine he's not the easiest owner to work for, but he's committed a lot of money to that club. The owners seem. Do the fans like him? Because what was Forrest before he came around?
Well, that's the other thing that you got to look at. Yeah, he is passionate. He's spending an awful lot of money. Look what he's done at Olympiacos. Look what he's done to Forrest. You know, he's brought in the right players, brought in the right people, brought in a great manager, got them into Europe. He's got Olympiacos into Europe. He's also got Rio Avenue, who are doing decent as well in Portugal. So, you know, he's passionate. He knows what he wants. He's willing to spend the money, and he wants success.
There's a lot of owners that don't show enough, you know, whether they care or not. You know, I love owners that care about the club. There's no question about that. But there's obviously a limit of what you should be doing publicly and what you should be doing privately. And he hasn't quite got that balance yet. But he has done an incredible job. Now, Nottingham Forest, you got to say, I think they would suit the Europa League more than the Champions League. And I say that just because of, you know, looking at Aston Villa and the pressures that they've had. They've done quite well to balance both, but I think there's more pressure in that Champions League and can take an awful lot out of your league form as well. So I think they have a good chance of going deep into Europa League. Look at Man United and Tottenham. Fuck.
That's a great point, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can qualify too soon, I think, for Europe sometimes because of the demands it takes on your players and playing Thursday, Sunday, right?
No one would ever say that, though, right? No one would ever say that.
No, they'll say, we want the money, European football.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not saying it's smarter necessarily, but to get that stability of being a consistent Premier League performer, say it's mid-table every year, figure things out, and then, okay, our next step is now the Premier League, the Champions League or Europa League, whatever it's going to be. Yeah. Who knows? Hopefully they do well, because like you said, Craig, I mean, United and Spurs are on the verge of qualifying for the Champions League after Spurs have lost 20 games this season. 20 games. That's incredible. I mean, that might be the one stat this season that blows my mind more than any other stat. And there's some great stats. 20 losses.
They're going to have to change the name of the Champions League for one of these teams.
Good luck.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
Yeah, no kidding. For the champion. Yeah, maybe it's time to change that for the Champions League. It used to be the Champions Qualifier. That's what it was. It was a knockout tournament in the good old days. Now you finish 5th or 17th and you can still qualify. Give it to a domestic cup winner. That's what I say. I've always said that.
Oh, I like that. That's a better idea.
That makes that tournament really important. And then, okay, so the top 4 or 5 team wins it. Often do. I get that. Then just give an extra spot in the league in that case. You know? Europa League. It's like when you drop down from the Champions League into the Europa League. I think, wasn't Arsene Wenger saying that's stupid this past week? I think it was him. It's stupid. rewarded for crashing out.
Yeah,
I
they're
agree.
they're trying to fend off a Super League by looking after clubs and giving them a chance again to make more money.
Game's gone, Craig. Game's gone. Let's make this a lifestyle podcast. To hell with football.
Okay.
We could do that, couldn't we?